purpose. God has a plan. I'm living His will. He's got me in His hands. I'm chilling, chilling, chilling with purpose. God has a purpose. God has a plan. I'm living His will. He's got me in His hands. I'm chilling, chilling, chilling with purpose.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chilling with Purpose, the broadcast that rescues the heart and the mind. You guys, this series has been so awesome. And so we are continuing with our fun on interviewing married couples of all years of age in their marriage. And so tonight we are so excited to have Mr. and Mrs. Roberts. Meet the Roberts. What? And listen, y'all, what state do y'all live in?
Virginia.
Mm-hmm. So listen, if you need a DJ, Mr. Roberts has been DJing for over 35 years. Mm-hmm. Now, listen, if you live in another state, I'm sure if you pay for that airline ticket, he will show up. I'm just saying, he could include it in the cost. Mm-hmm. So if you need a DJ for your events, Mr. Roberts is the man to see. And Mrs. Roberts, she is not only an author and a phenomenal, I call her the doctor of nurses. Mm. She also has a broadcast that is a coaching for divorcees. Yes. Listen, I want you to know she very much supports marriage. In the event that your marriage ends, there's a lot of pain. You know, death and divorce, they are equal. Mm. Because that means there's a death of a relationship. So there's a grief and a mourning that occurs in there. So her program and assignment that she has been given is doing divorce differently, not like Mama now. So her program is designed to help you heal and be restored so that you don't keep sabotaging. Isn't that awesome?
Amen.
You don't have to fake like you are right. You can for
right.
Right. If you are a divorcee, I think it's for women, but guess what? We can figure out something for the men. So I'm going to just say, if you are a divorcee, you need to talk to Felicia Roberts. She can help you. She can guide you and direct you in the way that you should go, because it's all faith and biblically
based. Yes.
So without further ado, give it up, audience, for the Roberts. Oh, y'all, I got to remember to go on Amazon and see if I can find an audience noise thingy. So how long have you two been married?
4 years in September.
4 years in September. Yeah. All right, here we go. Tell us how you met and tell us your love story.
You want to tell her? You want me to tell?
Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to tell? Okay. So listen, I'm always, because I'm just so animated. So listen, we were both in this Christian Professional Facebook group. I had just joined the group, I don't know, maybe it was a few weeks, and I was just in there really just to see who I could, connect with, if folks, women wanted to travel or whatever. And it was a co-ed group, but so I was hanging out, and he messaged me in Messenger, and I like to tell the details, because he said, "Hello, woman of God." And look, y'all, I was like, listen, I went back in my prayer time. I said, God, who he think he's talking to? He don't even know me like that. He a woman of God. What was he doing? You know how daddy is. He said, he addressed you as I told him to address you.
So you got checked in.
Okay.
Ooh, quick.
And so we had dialogue over the messenger. I needed to get some things. This is what I teach my women even now in our reacclimating, getting back on the dating scene later in life. But we chatted on Messenger for 3 days, and there were some key things that I needed to know before I even had a verbal conversation with him. So we chatted on Messenger. I, of course, was living life, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to be really busy. I'm going to be in Dallas this weekend, but if I catch you, I'll catch you. If I talk to you, it's nice to meet you, yada, yada. And don't you know, on that Monday, he was back in my message box. I said, oh, he's back. Oh. And can I tell you, because I had been off the dating scene for 6 years since my divorce. And so this was my first interaction that I started to really entertain someone that I thought was, valid enough. And so I was a little nervous. I called my best friend. I said, girl, he wants to talk. I don't know. What should I do? She's like, girl, well, talk to him. I said, oh, goodness. Okay. All of this is going on behind the scenes. So we talked, right? We had our first conversation, and it was just refreshing. If I had to give it a word, it was just refreshing. And because we started, I feel like, laying some of that groundwork with the initial questions. Literally, ladies, as you're back on this dating scene, we need to ask some critical questions. And I'm gonna give you one clue. You need to ask him, who is Jesus to him? Do you go to church? We're not talking about, are your boys Christians? We're not talking about, did you grow up in church? Who is Jesus to you? Because there's so much out there. And so as we begin to, he clarified some things. Listen, are you still married? I'm just asking the questions.
Right.
I don't even want to talk to you if these things are still happening. So we had our first conversation. And I think by the third conversation, he said, before we got off the phone, we forgot to do something. And I said, oh, okay. Well, what is that? And he said, we forgot to pray. Now here I go, y'all. Lord, well, I don't know nobody praying. That's too private, God. I don't know. Should I be praying with him, Lord? He's doing too much already in the third day. I don't know if I should keep. The Lord said,
hold on, wait a minute. You said he was doing too much by saying pray. Girl, you had been single and saved too long.
Too long, okay?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Like, okay, justification, just as cool, calm, collected. But I took it back before the Lord. The Lord said to me, well, are you building a friendship with him? And I said, well, yeah. And he said, okay, would you pray with a friend? And I said, well, yeah. And he said, okay, we'll pray with him. So from that day forward, prayer.
Prayer in the morning, prayer in the afternoon, prayer at night. She went away to Dubai. We talked while I was in Dubai and prayed.
I love it. I love it.
There were times I thought he was going to fall away. I'm like, oh, surely, I'm going to Dubai. I'm going to be gone for a week. Don't you know? We were 12-hour difference between Denver and Dubai. And he was up at 3 a.m. talking to me when it was 3 p.m. and he was consistent. So along the way, so we met in September, later September. And we met in September. By about November-ish, he started saying, I'm going to marry you.
Oh, you missed something.
Okay, come on, tell me.
Weekends, we basically used to do, this is what I would tell some, if you dating, if military, if you're in the military or you somewhere out of the country, do Facebook dinner with your instant have dinner online with your mate. FaceTime.
So he would set up FaceTime dinners, and he would say, "Oh, because we, Sunday after church, we come home, we, touch it in with each other, and he would say, well, let's have dinner tonight." And I said, well, how are we gonna do that? We're living in 2 different states. And he'd say, FaceTime. We're gonna FaceTime each other. So we literally would call each other dinner time. What you got? What you cook? What I cook? Sitting on FaceTime. We would look at the paper,
Sunday paper, and watch TV together.
Watch TV together.
I love it.
So this was the creativeness of what God was giving him in cultivating this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did I miss anything else?
Then also we were basically reading the Bible together.
Yeah. These were all. Yeah, we would listen to a devotional at night. So he would put the phone up and let me hear the devotional, and we would listen to that in the evenings as we were winding the days down. And so it's because this was remember, long distance. So we would involve each other in each other's lives, even long distance. If I was going to a different event, and I would bring him with, like, hey babe, okay, look, say hi to so-and-so. We're here to, so
when I go out and do a DJ event, I'll show her where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. He would take me to DJ an event and let me sit there with him online. So about November, the Lord told me, this is your husband, but you're not to say anything. And I said, okay, I'm not going to say a word. Okay. And when was it? Later November? He said, I'm going to marry you. And I said, oh, here we go. Okay. Oh. Here we go. All right, sure. Now, keep in mind, we have not met physically. We've not met. We've only been online. We've only been FaceTiming. So my first thing, I came this way. So ladies, I also want to encourage you in this. If you choose to date long distance, some people can't tolerate it. Some people are like, no, that's not my jam. I don't do that. But however you choose to do that, if you do long distance dating, don't be afraid to, and safely. Now, this was certainly under the unction of the Holy Spirit. I felt safe and all of those things. But I came here to him first. Why did I do that? Because I wanted to see that all the things, we were comparing each other's libraries. So that was another exciting thing. We'd be like, what book? Oh, you got John Maxwell. Oh my gosh, you got Miles Monroe. I got that one too. And we were comparing each other's libraries. And so I came here on purpose to meet to his side first. So let me say why I did that. It was because he was telling me that, yes, I'm a DJ. He was telling me I'm an associate minister at my church. He was telling me that these are my friends. He was telling me that I worked at this place. He was telling me, right? And so for me to be able to come here to his environment and see. So do you actually go to church? You said listen, we were in church New Year's Eve when I came.
Well, you came that Sunday morning to service.
Sunday morning to service. That's right.
No, it's clear. So Friday she came in town, and so I met her at a hotel. I got a hotel for her.
That was another thing, yes, because that was another clue.
Check.
Like, me trying to say stay with you. He was like, here's your hotel.
I got you a hotel. I gave her a key to a hotel. I went to her hotel. We went. I came there. It was raining that night.
Mm-hmm.
Came in. Got on my knees and gave her ring.
Oh,
like that. So
I'm not surprised. You see how he's sitting, right? He the boss. You see he's sitting like a boss.
Just get him going. Just get him going.
Yeah. No one is surprised that that's how he did it because he's sitting like a boss. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I get here and I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, but there was such a calmness. I can't even describe it. So that'd been 4 months. So we got engaged in 4 months. When I came here, there was no like period of going back and forth. So I came here. He proposed. We got engaged in, was it December 18th?
December.
Say it, the 18th.
You know, it was after Christmas. It was before Christmas.
Before Christmas.
It was after Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while I was here, and so it was just like, oh my gosh. But see, the Lord had already confirmed. So it wasn't hard for me to say yes. I just didn't know when. I thought, now here we go. I thought it was going to happen when he came back my way. Because I said, well, he'll want to be around, family and friends. But you got to remember, we're older now. So this is what we're understanding about being later in life and the way things happen.
Yeah.
Right.
And he a boss. Don't forget, he a boss.
So after that, after I proposed to her, we went out to dinner.
Yeah.
We drove around Hampton. I showed her Hampton and Newport News because she never been to Virginia, and she fell in love with the city. Then that Saturday we went to DC.
We drove to DC,
the Bible Museum.
So guess where our first date was?
Where?
The History of the Bible Museum in DC.
That is so adorable.
It was. So I was going back to say, because the teacher in me just wants to encourage women, don't be afraid to come and see the environment. So I was able to see, I met his pastor who spoke highly of him when I came. So when I came into the church, y'all, let me be honest, I'm looking around like, let me see, is anybody looking at me crazy? Like, oh,
yep, yes.
Oh, where does she? She might want to. Everybody there was saying, oh my gosh, this is a good man. From his work people to his pastor to his friends. He wasn't ashamed to. I met people. I was so overwhelmed with meeting everybody when I got here. I said, oh God, okay, I'm wore out, because he was making sure people knew who I was while I was here. And so we also had to make the decision when we were dating long distance, and after we, got engaged, like how were we going to go back and forth? So we got married in September of 2019, but in between we flew back and forth. So 1 month he would come to Denver, the next month I would come to Virginia, and we did that until the Lord showed us, where we were supposed to finally wind up living, which wound up being here.
Well, basically, what happened? I came down there and met her family.
Yeah.
Met all her friends and family. They fell in love with me.
Yeah.
I met Apostle Phil Smith.
Yeah.
He spoke to me.
Apostle Phil, Apostle Brown.
And it basically cut back. We went to marriage.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's enough to tell. Oh, babe, thank you. Okay, so once we got engaged, we needed to start premarital counseling, right? Mm-hmm. So I was in Denver, he's here, and we started a premarital course at a CCF. And we went to them and we said, well, we're engaged, but he doesn't live here. So and I didn't know. I said, well, babe, how will we do this? He, once again, FaceTime. Put me in the class on FaceTime. So I would go to the class. He'd pull up on FaceTime and he would be on the phone in the class on FaceTime. And so it was so interesting, because when we asked them that, they said, we don't know. We never had that posed to us.
They learned that day.
They did. But and for 12 weeks. So we made it work. We made it work so that we pressed forward. And then we went through formal training with Apostle Lewis Brown, who actually married us. And so, yeah. So God, I forgot that story too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is so cool.
And now you see most of the other churches now using that. They're streaming now.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a key. God will basically show them where they're going into their future now.
That is awesome. This is so adorable. So I have 4 years in September. What about Mr. Roberts? What about Mrs. Roberts, when you saw her, made you want to reach out to her?
What made me reach out to her, because I was tired of messing around with these woman who are basically dry. And God showed me that you've been doing your own thing. Let me do it for you.
Wow.
If I do it for you, you ain't got to worry about nothing. Yeah. Because that's where a lot of people get caught up. When you try to be God your own self, and God don't want you to be God.
Yeah.
He want to be God and let him minister to you and let him bring what he wants in your life.
So she's online. What, you heard her talk or you seen her face and you
I
were
saw
like,
her face and something just told me to reach out to her.
Look up there.
And I had not seen him. I hadn't seen him this group was like 20,000 people.
Oh.
So that's the other thing. This was a large Christian professional Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a pretty big, so I hadn't seen him because again, I had just got in the group, so I didn't know, hadn't seen his face or anything. So that was also why I was like, what? Who is he? What?
Now that's like really dynamic because it's almost like, oh, she pops in. Let me go ahead and message her. I feel this. Oh, that is awesome. That is so awesome. My co-host, do you all have any questions? I don't want to take up the whole thing.
I have a question.
Okay, Selena, Magdalene, and then Sandra.
Yes.
You mentioned the critical questions like who is Jesus to you and are you still married? What are some other questions?
So I asked him that was first, like, who is Jesus to you? Are you still married or are you married? I asked him what work, because we both divorced. So now I need to know, what work have you done to heal?
Oh, she asked my question.
And I explained to her, I've been divorced in 2002. So before I came to Virginia, I was living in Connecticut. So my best friend, Carl, his family was there for me. Then I had other people who were men, basically restoring me back to be a man. Then too, I had to basically sit back and let God do what he wanted to do in my life.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But I wanted to know, like, what did you do to heal? Because it's not just because you've been divorced. Like, you've been out, what? Yeah. So those three questions, do you have children? Those were critical questions to me. How is your relationship with your parents? Because I need to know, again, what I was coming. But the three off the top, before I even had a verbal conversation, was around his own personal, like, who is Jesus to you? Are you still married? Because we're not even going, there's no sense in me even talking to you. If those things are not ringing true. And I will tell you, with each of his answers, I always, in our conversations, I would take that back and give it to the Lord and ask God to show me. And every point I was asking the Lord, we both were asking the Lord, like, is this still it? You have free access and reign to do what you want.
I'll tell you what else was the key.
Yeah.
I'll tell other people this. Don't tell everybody your business. If you're dating somebody single, let God jack y'all and basically let God bless y'all. Because everybody in your business, you block your blessing.
That was a good
you
one.
hold back your blessing. So basically, keep it on the wrap till God tell you to open up, tell everybody about it.
That was critical.
I like it.
We were not, and a lot of times people would say, well, I didn't even know you. You found out when you needed to know. But the Lord had us, it was sacred because we wanted to ensure that we were hearing the voice of God along the way. And that's the voice we wanted. So we did not share. I can remember when I was telling my girls that I was coming, I said, listen, here's the address to this hotel. I need y'all to know. Listen, I met my friend and here's the address. So people knew where I was going to. So that was the other thing. And they didn't know they won't get a call next, like, girl, I'm engaged. They were like, what? You just said you was going to visit somebody we just found out.
Right.
So it looked new to other people, but it wasn't new to us. And yeah, so that's the thing too. My thing too is don't try to box God in. Just listen to him and let him lead you through the process. And for me, I always kept my hands open. I never wanted to have a grip on this relationship so much that if God needed to change the course, or if he said no, or if he said not now, that I would not want to put it down. So every place we just continue to like, here, God, is this still, are you?
And well, and then too, God showed himself faithful.
Yeah.
We looked at some houses. This house right here we at right now, I saw this house. My wife didn't see this house. This house got a lake on it. And when she saw this house, she fell in love with the house. So the real estate said, y'all want to go see some other houses? We said, we want to go back to that house. So we put out an offer on that house that same night, that same day, and the lady accepted the same day.
Awesome. And well, that answered my question because I wanted to know if you guys had merged into his current home or did you get a home together? That's awesome.
Bought a home together, and he was looking at homes here because again, I was still back in Denver, and so he would look up homes, and then in the evening time we would look and see, look at them together, and just see which ones we liked. And so, but that was also the beauty, was we were not in the same state even, but we really had to get to know each other.
Right.
You couldn't pull up and say, hey, let's go for a chat, let's go for coffee even. You really had to listen to each other's hearts and learn each other through that process. Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, my question is, do you guys have children? And if you do, what did your children say?
Oh, good one. So
I don't have no kids.
He doesn't have biological children. Of course, I have two adult children and 3 grandchildren. And so they were happy. They were surprised. They were surprised because they didn't know. They didn't have any clue. And then mama saying she's leaving the state. They were like, oh my gosh, what? Like this guy, who is this guy? Got to meet him. So when he came in February of 2019, he went around and met, and that was the other thing. So when I was here, I met all of his people and his life and lifestyle. And then when he came in February, he got to meet my people. And then I got to get a hand, like if anybody was like, girl, I don't know. Right. So not afraid to bring them around your council, bring them around your people, so that you make sure that you have all eyes. Right. And so the kids were good once they met him and they saw how he treated me, and saw his personality and his love for God. They were good. So what I really work to do is let them create their own relationship with him. So they're grown.
Good.
So I don't try to you gotta call him dad. No, you don't have to call him dad. Like you're grown. But they've given him their name OG. The grandkids call him Grandpa, but they call him OG. And it works.
Yes, it does. It works. That's the name.
And then they build their own. So he'll be like, well, I talked to Sean today, or I talked to, our daughter likes to text, but we pray over them. We cover them. We talk to the grandkids on a regular basis. He's a big family oriented guy.
Yes.
So on Sundays, there's no less. He's checking in with all his aunts and cousins and everybody, and then we're checking in with, my side, making sure everybody's good. And that's what I love about it too. Yeah.
The history was, before my grandmother passed away, we used to talk every Sunday. Mm-hmm. And so that was something my great grandmother taught me. Being a minister and being a preacher, that was something they fell on me and started saying, you need to be a leader, not a follower. And so a leader always reach out to people and contact them to see how they're doing and pray with them.
And that he does faithfully.
Nice. That is nice.
Yes. And so one of the other things that I love about him is the consistency of him. Like he was just consistent. There was not a time, like with prayer, like oh my God, even if we somehow missed getting off the phone and forget, like he would call me back, like we didn't pray, we need to pray. And so, or when he was going some places, so we were building that trust in a long distance way, right? And how do we do that? Was we were consistent with each other. If I said I was going to call you at 6 o'clock, then I'm going to call you at 6 o'clock, or I'm going to let you know, hey, I'm tied up with something else. Or, so we always kept those lines of communication open as we were, long distance as well.
That is cool. Sandra, I heard you say that she answered your question. Did you happen to have another question?
No, I don't, because both of them ask all the questions. But I would say this, even though you all says that you all been married only for 4 years, I love how the connection to see that something started online, but there was boundaries, there was limits, and then there was structure.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here and I wrote this thing. I said, trust is built with consistency. I like how he was a man of his word and how he stuck to it, and how because even though you met him online, he already had a standard in his life, and you already had a standard, and there was no compromise. It's like you guys both of you just fit together, respect each other boundaries. But I was just the smoothness of the connection and the long distance, how you all communicated. It's like, so even though you all were in two different states, it was like a unity. I mean, here it is. Now, I should have known that when my husband was in Korea. Let's do lunch or dinner together you know what I'm saying? I just love. It's like you all have been together almost 60, 70 years.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I feel. I just, there's this unity, man. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's what I see. That's what I observe. And I love his stillness. Like,
yes.
How he remembers. Now, I will say this. Most men, sometimes they don't remember, it's like certain things, but he was like, nope, that's not the way it was. This is so you get, listen, I'm going to tell my husband that there are things he needs to learn that from you.
He will set the record straight. He won't let me forget something. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. That did happen.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So I'm curious to know what the response was when you said, who is Jesus to you?
Jesus to me is my Lord and Savior. Jesus is my best friend and my role model and my leader. Jesus is the God to me that I would never turn my back to. And I won't put no other God before him.
And not only does he say that, he lives that. Like,
right.
That was so that's the thing. Okay, yes, he says who is Jesus to him, but now again, I got to be able to come and see who he said Jesus was to him.
Yes. But you know what was the nice kickoff though? Is he didn't stumble on the answer. Like I've even asked guys that have been interested, and I'm like, so how you and Jesus holding? How y'all hanging? Like, well, we all right. That's all you can say is you all right. I need a little bit more than all right. So he has the like, listen, this is who Jesus is to me.
Yeah. And
I
so
think that is so awesome.
That's the life he lives. So it was hard to hard to not believe that this is who he was. And again, there was a peace in my spirit. There was never a check of, oh girl, always a peace in my spirit as we were moving forward through the process and the journey. And when the Lord told me that he was my husband, and to not say anything, I knew that was him saying, don't you go trying to add your 2 cents. I've already shown him, let him do what I'm telling him to do.
Right.
So yeah.
I love it. So you said you traveled there did you travel alone?
When I came here?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just gave my girlfriends the address, just said, hey, here's the hotel I'm at. Listen for me. I'm going to call you when I get there. So you can track me every step of the way.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if I happen to have to do that, is it okay if I'm carrying a knife while I'm traveling alone? Or do I dial a friend? I'm just saying. Was your level of trust like that? Like you
It
felt
was.
peace and a trust? Because now not only you may have felt it with him, but now you were literally entering his territory. And so it's like, now how close do I need to hold my knife? Or do I need to hold what? No, and I'm
What
actually
does the Bible say about that?
I'm being serious.
What the Bible say about that? God said, "I'll fight your battle for you."
Yeah, well, he might need me to hold the knife while he fights. I'm just saying. I mean, you know.
But you know what thing? This was we didn't, when we met, you know, I was nervous because I'm like, well, now how's this gonna translate in person? Oh my God.
Right.
Like we've been FaceTime and we've been in each other's lives long distance. But when we met,
She didn't know I was this tall with him.
yeah, I didn't know you was tall because you didn't look that tall to me. But the embrace that we had was like a relief.
Yeah. Oh.
Like you're here.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
And it just went. And then when we took the trip to DC and we drove there for 3 hours up and back, it was like, okay, all right, we just spent 6 hours in a car together. Okay, check. Okay. So you're checking things off. The fact that he would want to take me to the History of the Bible Museum as a first date. Like, you understand? That's the
right.
consistency. It wasn't something that jerked me out. Like, when you're talking about going to a club.
Yeah, also you gotta remember too. Sunday, you went over one of my friends' house for dinner.
Oh, at Hudson's?
Hudson.
Yeah.
And they surprised us. She didn't know they were gonna give her a present that night.
They were already. I said, "Oh my God, these people are so kind." But they spoke well of him. Yeah, it was. Yeah. And so here we are next month, September 7th, will be our 4 years. And so when I got here, we were married and then COVID.
That is so true. Yes, ma'am, because it was March when stuff started shutting down of 2020.
So we get married in September, COVID hits, and now we looking at each other like, oh, okay, wow. And now we're in the same household, and now
you forgot something.
Yeah.
You forgot something.
You forgot
when
something.
She got here, and when she got here after we got married, I took her apple picking.
You took me apple picking. That was another thing.
She never been
take a field trip apple picking.
We went apple picking.
Can we sign a field trip slip and come there and go apple picking?
Come on, y'all. Come on. We're going.
This would be so fun. Look, Sandra, like, no.
I said, how is this city girl? How did I get up here picking apples?
It's fun. It is.
It was. Listen, we had so many apples. We were like, please come get apples. We were calling all our friends, come get a bag of apples. We didn't overpick. We were so excited.
Yeah.
You'd have thought we started an Apple store or something, but right. it was fun.
Oh, that is
beautiful. That's right. But that also was another place of solidifying us as well.
You also forgot too. We went to a state fair, and Sugar Hill Gang came here. And what happened before we met Sugar Hill Gang, I was in the parking lot. She was looking for me. I got lost in the parking lot.
Y'all, I said, oh my gosh, they're gonna be like, how in the world did she just marry him? And now she can't find him.
Lord.
He's really close with his sister. And so I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna tell Lisa? So that was the other thing. So his sister and his mom came to Denver. I hadn't met him yet.
Wow.
But because of the relationships that were being built, they came to Denver for a conference and wanted to hang out with me for lunch. So we went to lunch. I got to talk with them and meet them, try to, pick their brains a little bit while I was there. And this was all before I met him. And so we all fell in love with each other. So it's just, it's been good. And so during the COVID, as I was saying, that was another fortifying place for us because you didn't have a lot of outside interaction. So we had to continue to plow through getting to know each other and our styles and communication, and you didn't have any outside distractions. But the tough part for us was not being able to be in an assembly, like a church body, because we're both so heavy in ministry and wanting to serve. So that was hard. But yeah.
Well, no, I did. I still had to preach at my church.
That's right. You would go online.
I would go online. The church had me come preach there.
Yeah, nobody was in the building.
Nobody in the building. I had to still preach.
Y'all would come in and do service. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so how did that look? Okay, so not only have you moved from Denver to Virginia, everyone has definitely welcomed you and made you feel safe, and he didn't scare. By the way, are you what, 6'3" or 6'4"?
I'm 6'2".
6'2". You look taller than 6'2". You do. Okay, but how was it reacclimating to a new church home?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. We went, she came down here before we got married. Deacon Stevenson had the fish fry.
Yeah, so I got to meet.
And met all the people. And remember all the mothers sat you down in the room?
Oh my gosh. The mothers
Oh no.
Listen, y'all, the mothers caught me at the fish fry dinner. And I'm looking around for Brian. I'm saying, no, we were at one of the deacons' house.
Ooh.
And I'm looking around for Brian like, oh my God, help me. But you know, it wasn't that they were rude or nasty. They were just getting to know me and like, okay, who's this lady coming from outside, you know, that came here to this state for him? Who are you? So it was quite interesting. But they're the sweetest things. And now when we go back, they're the sweetest things. But I was like, honey, oh my God, they got me. So acclimating to so with COVID, we were online like everybody else, and we are looking at services and trying to figure out where, you know, we're going to be led to serve. So, you know, when we opened back up, the places that we had started following online, we went to visit physically to see if, you know, if this what we saw online was.
Well, one of the churches was I know you might have heard of David Robinson. His brother pastored church here.
Oh, okay.
What's his name? Oh God,
I forgot his name.
His first name.
I forgot his first name.
Yeah.
But we were going there for a while. Then we said, and something told us that's not for us. So we went back online. Then we started watching
where we are now,
Breakfast Nation.
Yeah.
And so the key was at the church we at now, we said, God, wherever church we go to, we want somebody to give us a sign that this is the place you want to be at.
We asked the Lord for that before. Like, so when we join, we confirmation from you, they're going to tell us that they know that you sent us here. And so we really focused on, okay, what we saw online, is this now what we're going to experience when we come to the building? And it was, and all that. And when we finally joined, our bishop said, I knew that you were coming. And like, okay, God. All right, well, then there you have it. Okay, we're in.
Nice.
So that was, getting it was tough. It was a little tough, but I think and then we would do our own devotionals here. So when we were not in church, then we would do our own devotionals. We would go out and serve the homeless. Like, we just tried to do things that kept us active.
What we used to do on Sunday, shipyard. We have Newport News shipyard. We used to go down and make up like 20 bologna sandwiches with chips and everything and give it to the homeless people.
Nice.
To stay active. Yep.
I love it. So what do you guys do in your church?
We both associate ministers at the church, and I'm part of the men's ministry, and I'm part of different stuff. She's part of different stuff.
Evangelism. And so we do Bible studies. We're actually hosting small groups in our house now.
Well, we did. Also, we are the teachers of the discipleship class.
So we teach a discipleship class together. Yep. And outreach. So we, have our separate ministries or things that we're interested in, and then we wanted to make sure we were intentional about being on ministry together.
Nice.
Because I think you can easily get caught with everybody's going different ways, and we wanted to make sure that our common thing we knew was outreach. Like our hearts are to, he would do nursing home ministry at his previous church. Here's another key, ladies, as I'm thinking. When I came here and he was already part of a ministry, I knew that was not where I belonged, but I could not come and just snatch him out of ministry.
That's right.
So we had to wait. I had to wait, and it was a couple of years. Of course, then we had COVID, but even after that, I still had to wait until the Lord released him from his position there to search for a new church home. So I did not, get ahead of him or like, don't you go? We supposed to be moved, don't you know? Just, and so the Lord helped me in the midst of that as well, to just be calm, to support him, as he was ministering and preaching there. And he was part of the nursing home ministry and their outreach ministry, the Nights of Welcome.
Nights of Welcome. We used to have homeless people stay at our church. We call it Nights of Welcome. We have over 200 men and women stay at our church. We feed them, clothe them. We give them the Bible study every night.
But they would stay there with the people for that entire week. So all the ministries would stay at the church with those people.
With the homeless.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So I didn't come here, even though I knew that the ministry was not necessarily where we were going to remain, just being patient and faithful to God and let him do his assignments without, nitpicking.
Cool. I like that you said that, because sometimes vice versa, it could be the girls or the guys that they'll be like, oh, I was letting God do what he do, but they dropping them subliminal hints, or they are loudly showing their disagreement without opening their mouths. And I can tell by the way that you said it that you did not do those things. So I think that is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's beautiful. So unpack your first disagreement. You guys are still newlyweds.
Woo!
And navigating another beautiful chance at a healthy marriage and all of those things. And even though I know that both of you spent time healing through the last marriage and unpacking things and throwing stuff in the trash that needed to go in the garbage and all of that. Now we're married. He's the one, she's the one. We have our first disagreement or argument, heated conversation, whatever you want to call it. Go.
Well, I major disagreement. I'm a people person, and most time what I do, like when I DJ, like you said,
how do we handle that disagreement?
I'm a DJ, so what I do, I send out the show I do. I send it out to everybody on instant message, to my male friends and my female friend. She couldn't sell. I was sending it out to the female friend.
I said, okay, because we've all had this whole life, right? You had life, I had life, and how do we balance making sure that we, So I think that we had to really sit down and talk through it, and because I know his personality and know his heart, we had to really talk through it though, right? We had to talk through it and really we go back to he is better with making sure that we come out of that thing. Like, come on out of that room. Because I'm animated and I can he will be like, oh, I moved on, like I'm done. And I'm like, well, wait, we didn't get an understanding. I need to make sure you understand what we're doing. Right. You agree? Then how do we fix this? How do we make sure that don't happen again? And he's like, listen, I done prayed about it. I've left it there. I'm not talking about it anymore. And we still have to figure out, like, wait, how do we get the balance though, so that your need is met out of this thing and mine is met out of this thing. But we always keep God at the center. Don't you agree? Like, I think that's where we go back to. Is this pleasing to God? And then we have to take it to him and decide how we're going to let it go.
Okay. All right. So how did you let that go?
So I had to resolve, first of all, me taking it to the Lord and saying, God, okay, is this my stuff that I need to sift through?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he showed me, yes, that's your stuff you got to sift through. And I said, okay, Father, then help me. And he just was supportive, like, okay, what do you need from me?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was really clear that, okay, he's a DJ. He's got contacts and all the things that he needs to do with that.
I have companies. I have 2 companies.
Yeah, companies, contacts, all of these things. And see, that's then where, oh, good question, where you got to learn where even in those disagreements, hey, is this some things I need to work through?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because it ain't always the roses.
Right, right.
There's pieces that come in that you got to decide, is this new? Is this old? Right? Because we're always in the ing of our healing.
That's it. That's it. And you're still merging as well.
Absolutely.
It's only been 4 years is a long time, and 4 years is not a long time.
You got it. And we had all these lives. We had life before.
Yeah.
So even when you talk about having opposite friends, what does that look like? You had a whole life before me.
Yeah.
So, and I've had a whole life before you. So are we cutting off everybody? No, we're not doing that. We're mature enough to be able to have the conversations. And yeah, so that was a heated one. I got it early on, like heated. And but that was too when you didn't have the distraction of the world. Like these were things we looking at each other every single day. No place to go.
Right.
So that was probably our biggest one early on. We had to sort through that. Like, okay, all right, we're good.
That's cool. That's actually leading to my next question. Because you married later in life, which also means you're both very well established.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't just mean in the marketplace, it's in who you are. You're established. And with that establishment comes some settlement of your ways. Oh my God. I know I'm going to have some challenges in the settlement of my ways. And so the working through that, did you happen to have to let some friends like pull away on either side because of that merging? Maybe something wasn't clicking, or they weren't supportive, or whatever that looks like. Are there some friends that you had to kind of dial back from?
I don't think so. I was.
That's good. That's good.
That was not we were more so building, like merging. These are our friends. These are not just your friends and my friends.
I would say in that line what she's saying, I would say to that, I had to let go of people who were not for me.
Before me? Or
No. But I'm saying who are basically were holding back my potential.
Right. Yes. Okay.
And you got some friends who are not, they can be friends, but you got friends who are not friends who say they're your friend, but they don't got your back.
Yes.
Did we have some of that when we got married?
Yeah.
For you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got to move out of your life because they in there just say, oh, I know that person, but they're not putting the effort to benefit you.
Right.
Okay, now.
All right. See, Felicia, the boss is so smooth, you didn't even know he dropped some people like a hot potato. He was like, and we're done.
He's such a people person in the light of like, everybody come. Love this person. Yeah, so I would have a hard time. Wow. Okay. I think that, we built from friendships. I think when you're talking about the marrying later in life, yeah, that's the adjustment you have to make in the we don't, for instance, and this is just sharing, transparently, because that's who we are and sharing our story. We don't take on, like, at this point, I have to wash his clothes to feel like I'm his wife. Like, we're just older now. Like, you wash your clothes, I wash mine. It's no problem. We're just easy that way. We don't.
Did y'all just kill a cow? Did you just kill a cow?
We don't. We do not. He'll cook. I'll cook. Sometimes he just be like, you don't have to cook tonight. Don't worry about it. I don't know. So I just, yeah.
That's beautiful.
We don't at this age. It's just,
Nope.
it's too much stuff to be. We just don't argue about that or get into those kinds of things.
Like she don't have to cook for me if she don't want to.
Say that again. Rewind.
I haven't set up such that I said, listen, on Sundays, which is my favorite day to cook, I don't want to cook every Sunday. So can we agree that the first and third Sundays we go out to dinner, and the second and fourth I'll cook? And that works.
I like it. I need to put that in my notebook. You wash your clothes, I wash mine.
Yeah, we just don't make it hard. Don't stress and strain.
Right.
And
I like the bed maid.
He likes the bed made, so I make the bed, right? No stress, no strain. But here's him. He will wait he didn't tell me that till this year. This is year 4. Year 4, y'all. He just told me this year, babe, I like the bed. I said, why you didn't tell me? He said, no, I'll go ahead and do it, but just okay, I'll make sure I make it.
Yeah. See, I like the bed made, but I don't always like to make it. Maggie, get back up here. Now, my daughter, I'm telling you, she'll get out of the bed, she makes the bed, or if she happens to come down the hall to chit chat for a minute, and she'll be like, oh, I gotta go make my bed. And I'm like, I'm wondering if I'm gonna make mine today.
It's not, but you're figuring in at this age what things are,
right.
What's it worth to you?
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Okay, so as we begin this has been a blast. So first of all, thank y'all for saying yes, because this is really good. As we begin to wrap up, what would you like to say, or what would you say to the people that are waiting for their opportunity to marry later in life? Speak to the later in life crowd. What would you say?
I would say to them, wait on God. The key. Listen to the voice of God. Make sure you're not listening to your own voice. Make sure you're hearing the voice of God. In many ways, God can speak to you through the Bible, through prayer, by meditating, by worship. The key is get worship. Sometimes you got to die from your flesh and get before God and fast. And then, too, you might have to basically say, God, I have to give up my will and let your will be done.
All right. That's good.
I would say make sure that just make sure that you're healed and well. And I would say don't be afraid to turn over every stone in your dating process. Don't be afraid of the answers that you may receive. Don't be so desperate that you'll blow past red flags because you think the time is up or it's not going to happen.
That's good.
Just make sure that you ask the right, how's your credit? We had physicals.
Nice.
Let me see your physical.
I like it.
Okay. Because I had been purified and cleansed, and I'd be doggone if I was going to let somebody come and I need to see it. So we were not afraid to go there. So don't be afraid to go there in your dating process.
And I would say, don't try to get in a relationship because you see your friends dating somebody. No, because what that do is basically you messing around and dating the wrong person, then you say, how can I get out of this relationship?
Come on. That is true.
And I'll tell any Christian woman, there's a lot of Christian women who are out there trying to get married. Make sure you know you hear from God before you go out and date some guy out there in the street who say, "Oh, I'm coming to church with you just because he want to get with you." Then he just want to be, you want to be in church with you. Then after y'all get married, then he don't go to church no more. It's not your place to drag a man into the church. It's God only place to put that man in the church. Make sure he have a relationship with God first. He must know Jesus first. It's not about baptism. It's not about him knowing the scripture, but he have to have a relationship, one-on-one relationship with Jesus Christ.
I love it. I love it. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. This has been awesome. We thank y'all for joining us. This has been beautiful. Giving of your time. It's what, 9 o'clock there?
Yes.
It's 7 o'clock here. So we thank you for even doing that time difference with us. Thank you,
Hey,
viewers.
you want to say something?
Yes, yes.
Oh, does somebody want?
I thought he said he wanted to say something. Huh?
I think she want to say something.
No, I think everybody's good.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Sorry.
We thank you, viewing audience, for joining us. And hey, enjoy the replay. You're welcome to go to the website and view any of our series of how we met, our love story. And you know how it ends. We love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Bye-bye.
God has a purpose. God has a plan. I'm living his will. He's got me in his hands. I'm chilling, chilling, chilling with purpose. God has a purpose. God has a plan. I'm living his will. He's got me in his hands. I'm chilling, chilling, chilling with